Before we get started, I do need to make a correction to the WNBA video from this morning. I misread the report from ESPN. I thought ESPN was reporting that WNBA players opting out of the CBA early, that meant that next season was at risk of cancellation, but that is not right. From my understanding now, and I appreciate the viewer who corrected me on this, from my understanding now, next season is not at risk. It's the following season that could be at risk. These labor disputes, they can be confusing. It's definitely not my area of expertise, but either way, that is my fault. I should have double or triple checked that information before I gave it to you this morning. But next season in the WNBA should not be at risk. It's the following year. I am guessing that I am going to be in the minority when I say this, but I am excited about the start of the NBA season. Regular season starts tonight with a doubleheader on TNT. Knicks Celtics are in the early window, followed by T-Wolves and Lakers. Now, there's a couple of reasons that I am excited for the NBA. Number one, the NFL has been absolutely dreadful this year. I'm not just saying that because my Saints are one of, if not the worst team in the league. That's my new expectation for my Saints. I expect them to suck. With the franchise being led by Denise Allen and Donnie Carr, along with Captain Doofus Mickey Loomis, I am not expecting a quality product in New Orleans. But the problem with the NFL, there is a shitload of other teams that are garbage too. The league is damn near unwatchable. With the return of the NBA, me and the wife, we have something to watch multiple nights every week, which leads me to reason two. My Pelicans, they should be very compelling this season. Now, I don't know if they're going to win. I don't know if they're going to be playoff contenders, but either way, it should be a very entertaining season in New Orleans. We already have something going for us that other teams seem to be struggling with. Going into the regular season, the Pelicans, they have a healthy roster for the most part, outside of Trey Murphy, who just signed an extension to remain in New Orleans over the next 4 years. Outside of Trey Murphy, the Pelicans, they are going into the regular season healthy. Other teams throughout the league, they don't have that same luxury. Kawhi Leonard, he is out indefinitely again. I mean, this dude's out so much, I can't remember the last time that Kawhi Leonard was an impact player. You'd probably have to go back to 2019 when he carried the Toronto Raptors to a championship. And even then, he missed a lot of the regular season because he was managing his load. I can only play a handful of games during the regular season. I know you're paying me $35 million, but my load is becoming far too much for me to manage. I wasn't necessarily surprised by the Kawhi Leonard injury. If I remember correctly, his health was the reason that he missed the Olympics this summer. But I was surprised when I saw a tweet from Shams Charania this morning talking about the newest disaster duo in Philadelphia. The fucking season hasn't even started yet, and superstar NBA players, they are already missing games because of boo-boos. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Let's go ahead and get to the sponsor for today's video, my friends over at Fluffernoggin. I am not a big snacker, but if there's one time of the year when I snack more than others, it's during football and basketball season, which turns out to be half the year. But one of my favorite snacks to eat while I'm watching NFL Red Zone or the NBA at night is beef jerky. Problem is, a lot of beef jerky, it tastes like you're biting into a flat tire. Good news is, I no longer have that problem because I started buying gourmet craft beef jerky from Fluffernoggin. Now you're probably thinking, what the hell is a Fluffernoggin? Fluffernoggin is gourmet beef jerky that is made with 100% organic brisket right here in America. You don't have to worry about consuming foreign cows. These cows, they're homegrown. Each recipe from Fluffernoggin is handcrafted with the perfect amount of seasoning. First beef jerky that I've ever tasted that literally melts in your mouth. Fluffernoggin comes in a variety of flavors: mango habanero, Korean barbecue. They've even got a flavor called Carolina Reaper for those looking for serious heat. Or if you're like me, you'll go with my latest favorite flavor, sea salt and honey pepper. Fluffernoggins running a special right now where you can get 5 bags for $50 along with free shipping. So click the link in the description below. Use my promo code BTL at checkout and get your first 5 bags of Fluffernoggin today. Tomorrow night, the Sixers open the season at home against the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, as you guys know, I go to a handful of NBA games every year. I never miss a home playoff game, but I also go to a handful of games throughout the regular season. My Pelicans rep often hits me up with deals where I can buy a package of 5 games for cheap, with the seats being a couple of rows up from courtside. I might take him up on the offer this season, but normally I don't. Why? Because I would have to pay for the tickets weeks and for some games months in advance, and I have no idea who is going to be playing. 99% of the time when I buy NBA tickets, I buy them the day of the game after the injury report is released, because I don't want to pay hundreds of dollars per ticket, and when I get to the arena, I find out Zion Williamson is sitting because it's the second night of a back-to-back. It should not be that way. As a fan, as a paying customer, I shouldn't have to question whether superstar players making 30, 40, 50, soon to be $60 million a year are going to bother to show up to work. Well, KC, these guys need their rest. Basketball's a physical sport. You don't want to risk injury. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a sports trainer or trained in sports medicine. But in my uninformed opinion, part of the reason I think we see so many injuries in the modern NBA, it's because players are not consistently playing basketball. That's not just my opinion. It's also the opinion of Stan Van Gundy, someone who spent decades coaching in the league. If you're going to buy tickets to an NBA game to see your favorite superstar players play, you would think that one of the safest games of the season would be the first game, right? I mean, for 99.9% of the players, there's absolutely no way they're going to miss the first game of the season, right? I mean, they've had the entire off season to rehab any nagging injuries. They've had 5, maybe 6 months to recover. And opening night is usually a big deal in the NBA. Only a handful of days in the regular season that are still treated with importance. Opening night is one of them. If you're a fan of the 76ers and you spent hundreds of dollars on tickets for tonight's game, hate to tell you this, but you're going to be disappointed. Shams Charania announced this morning that Paul George and Joel Embiid, they're going to be out for tonight's game. Why? Well, Paul George has a boo-boo. Paul George can't make it tonight because he's got a bone bruise. And the Sixers, they are sitting Joel Embiid because they want to rest his surgically repaired knee. I guess Joel Embiid didn't get enough rest in the last 2.5 months. His surgically repaired knee damn sure didn't seem to be bothering him during the Olympics. From what I understand, Joel Embiid, he is missing the season opener to rest his knee. And Paul George, he's missing because he literally has a bruise. Look, maybe this is the right decision by the Sixers medical staff. Maybe it's a good idea to be cautious. I mean, Joel Embiid has a long history of injuries. It's an 82-game season. You're going to need your star players healthy to contend. Long term, it's probably the right decision. But in terms of public perception, this is another bad look for the NBA. I say this every year. This damn league can't get the hell out of its own way. As I was preparing this video, Christian Clark, he's a local reporter in New Orleans, he released an updated report from the Pelicans. Zion Williamson, he missed practice today because he was sick, and he is a game time decision tomorrow night as to whether or not he will play. This only seems to be an issue with superstar players. It's the strangest thing. Role players, they always seem to be healthy. But the damn stars, they just can't seem to make it through an 82-game season. Why? I wish I could tell you. All I know is it has a devastating impact on the public perception of the NBA. When the league signed their television deal this offseason, I couldn't believe it. I could not believe the networks were willing to give $76 billion to a league where star players consistently fail to show up to work. It is the same damn story every year. This is why I have so much respect for LeBron James. Now, obviously, I don't respect his constant push of mythical racism a few years ago. I don't respect LeBron trying to play the role of the ultimate victim. But in terms of work ethic, in terms of career longevity, in terms of showing up during the regular season, I have got nothing but respect for LeBron James. Even at 39 years old, going on 40 in December, LeBron James, he continues to show up every night, or at least he tries to. I don't even have to look at the Lakers injury report tonight against Minnesota. Opening night of the season, I already know LeBron James, he's going to be there. On the surface, there is no reason that the NBA should be struggling this bad in television ratings. For the past 5 years, ratings in this league have been atrocious. You can no longer blame woke politics. You can no longer blame mythical racism. It's probably a combination of factors, but I think one of the main reasons that people aren't watching the NBA, the players don't give them a reason to watch. If the players don't care about the regular season, why should the fans care about it? Well, KC, it's no big deal. People will watch during the playoffs. Yeah, the problem is they're not watching during the playoffs. You can't expect people to tune in April and be emotionally invested in this league. You build that emotional investment during the regular season. I think people have a hard time relating to modern NBA players. Fans have a hard time relating to athletes who don't show up. They have a hard time relating to players who are making more money than ever while constantly whining about the length of the regular season. And the thing is, the NBA has plenty of likable star players. Earlier this morning, I mentioned to you guys about Starting Five on Netflix. Show was produced by LeBron James, and it follows him, Anthony Edwards, Domantas Sabonis, Jimmy Butler, and Jason Tatum through last season. You get to see them interact with their kids. You see them interact with their families, their teammates. It really gives you a different perspective on what these guys go through during the season. The amount of time, the amount of work that it takes in order for them to stay in shape and healthy and game ready. It gives you a completely new outlook on NBA players, but most fans, especially casual fans, they will never see it. The overall perception of the NBA is overwhelmingly negative, and reports like this morning from Shams Charania reporting that 2 superstars are missing opening night for rest and boo-boos, that is one of the reasons that this league continues to struggle. There has never been more skill. There has never been more talent in the NBA than there is today. The Western Conference is absolutely stacked. Star players, they are spread throughout the league. Fans should have every reason to be watching, but for some reason, the players continue to give them every reason not to care. Give me your thoughts on this. Joel Embiid, Paul George, they are out for the season opener. Another NBA season begins with superstar players missing games. Yet for some reason, I am still excited for the start of the NBA. I guess I am a glutton for punishment. Am I the only one? Are you guys looking forward to the season? With the quality of play in the NFL being this bad, the NBA is the only thing I have left. Sound off in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share the video. Appreciate your support. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com. See you guys tomorrow.